Today we're going to begin the Mario and Luigi postcard project. The first thing I want you to do to get started is log into My Connect. Once you're in My Connect, I want you to go to Module 2. And I want you to go down to the bottom of the page of Module 2 to where it says Resources. What we need to do is we need to download this Mario and Luigi coloring page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to prompt me to where I want to download this. And I want to download it into my folder. So make sure you're on desktop, go into your personal folder, and you'll notice that in my folder I started organizing myself. I'm going to help you work on that a little bit today as well. Since this is a level 1 project, I'm going to go ahead and save it into my level 1 folder. Okay, and it's showing me down here the progress of my download, and it's already done, so I'll minimize this, and I'm going to go ahead and open up my folder, go into my level 1 folder, and you won't have levels since you're in just one level. And I have 2 projects going on here now, or 2 modules started, so I'm going to right click, add a new folder, and I will call this Module 1. And I'm going to drag all of my Module 1 images in here. And that would be everything except for the Mario and Luigi postcard that I just downloaded. All right, so there's Module 1. And now I'm going to start a new folder for Module 2. But I'm going to be a little more specific with this. I'll call it Mario and Luigi postcard. And all my files for this unit will go in this folder. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and open that folder. And one way to open this in Photoshop, I can't just double click on it because it's a JPEG and it'll open in preview. So I want to right click, go to Open With, and then go to Adobe Photoshop. And that way it'll open right up in Adobe Photoshop. I'm also going to check and make sure that I am on my workspace. So go to Mrs. Texera. Okay, and there's the workspace the way that I left it and the way that I like it. Okay, and to get started with this Mario and Luigi postcard, the first thing I want you to do is check the size, because whenever you're working from an image that you've taken from the internet or got from another source, you don't want to just work with the size that you're given. Okay, there are reasons for certain sizes and also for resolution, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's go up to where it says Image on your main menu and Image Size. Okay, and this is telling me that this image is 22.222 inches by 17.514 inches. That's a very large image. We don't want to work with it at that size, especially since we're making it a postcard. So we're going to create a standard postcard size, but also I want you to look at the resolution. Right here, the resolution is 72 pixels per inch. Sometimes you'll see that abbreviated as PPI. And what that means is that in a square inch, you will have 72 pixels or little squares of color. 72 is standard for web design. So anything you're designing to go on a computer screen, on a phone, any type of electronic device, you'll almost always use 72 pixels per inch, because that creates a smaller image size, which will pull up easily on that device. And also with devices, the quality is not as crucial as with print. A standard resolution for print is 300 ppi or pixels per inch. So we need to resize this and change that resolution. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't want to do it here because this is changed. So if I change this width to 6, you'll notice that my height is not exactly 4. It's 4.729. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to show you the right way to do this. What we want to do is we want to use our crop tool. So if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth tool down from the top. If you're seeing a different tool, the slice tool or the perspective crop tool, something like that, just click and hold and you can go to the crop tool. The crop tool is the default. Okay, if I go up to my crop tool menu items where it says ratio here, I want to pull that down to W by H by resolution, width by height by resolution. That's what I want to work with. And I want my width to be 6 inches, so I'm going to type in 6 space IN, and then I'll tab over 4 space IN. And then this next window right here is my resolution, and I want that to be 300 pixels per inch. Okay, so you can see a preview of the crop going on down here already. One thing I'm noticing right away is that if I just left it like this, I'm going to be cutting off parts of my image on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to need to deal with that. So before I do that, I want to make sure that my background color matches the color of the background of my image, because if I pull this out, whatever that background color is going to take on this. So for example, if I switch this to black, notice that now it's filling in with black. So you want to make sure that that background color is the color that you want it to be, and it happens to be white, and the background of my image happens to be white, so I'm good for that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up to the top. So I have it all the way up to the top and all the way up to the bottom. I can also move this side to side to center it wherever I want. And once I have it where I think it looks really good, I'm going to go ahead to the top, back up to my tool menu item, and I'm going to hit check or OK, accept. Okay, so I have now resized this to a postcard size, and I've also changed the resolution for print. If I go up to image size, I can check this, and I can see that that has now made that change. The last thing I want to do is I want to make sure I save this with the correct name and also into my folder. And I also want to save it as a PSD file. Now we only have one layer, so if I save it as it is, if I go to File, and I want to do a Save As, by the way, not a save. The first time you save, you've made changes and you're saving it with your name, you want to do a Save As. Okay, and it's defaulting to JPEG because I haven't added any layers. So I'm going to force this to save as a Photoshop file. That way I know this is my project file, this is the one I want to go back to. Also, it has just this name that it came with, and I want to change that. So I'm going to change that to my last name, and then my first name. And then I want to name it after my last and first name. I want to change it to the project that it is. So we'll just call this Mario, and I'll put PC for Postcard. Okay, and anything that makes sense for that, I'm okay with. If you want to name it Mario and Luigi Postcard, that's fine. If you just want to name it Mario, that's fine, because we understand which project that is. So as long as it makes sense for the project, we're good with that. Okay, so we have our last name, our first name, the name of the project. We're saving it as a .psd, which is a Photoshop file. And we want to make sure that we are going to the right folder. And this folder, Mario and Luigi Postcard, is the one that I just created. But to make sure I am in the right folder, I'm going back to my desktop, back to level 1, and then here's module 1, and here's the Mario and Luigi Postcard that I created, and I'm going to save. Okay, now I can close this. And I'm going to check my folder, level 1, Mario and Luigi Postcard, and you'll notice I have 2 files in here. So the next time when you're working on 2.2, make sure that you are working with the PSD file that you just created, not the JPEG. You can actually get rid of this one now if you'd like to, but I would save it just in case you need it for later. Okay, that's it for today. Please let me know if you have any questions.